Hello, Leo. Great to have you here. My name is Shona. Today's reading is a general love forecast. As always, take the messages that resonate and release anything that doesn't. Don't forget to like, and subscribe to stay connected with upcoming readings. Let's see what's headed your way, Leo. Here, and just to save time so that we don't have to go through the shuffling, I'm going to go into this spread in a little bit, and this is the same spread that I've been using, the same format. I'm just using a different deck. And I'm going to go into your initial messages that came out while I was shuffling, and after the activities that are happening either physically around you or in your mind. So I see a lot of you are picking up projects, and then you're trying to start it and you're trying to find ways to finish it. And I see you getting distracted and you put it down and you move on to the next thing. So I see a lot of things that are being started, but none of them are really finished in an efficient manner. And I feel like a lot of things are weighing on your mind as well. A lot of distractions. I feel that you need peace and quiet for some serious, either studying or some serious alone time in order to get something done. But you're getting like called left and right. You're getting solicited left and right as well. So I feel like there's a lot happening around your environment, and you have trouble tuning out those distractions in order to get things done. I feel like a lot of things are just happening this month. It's a very, very busy month, and you need to get focused, okay? And I don't feel you like physically getting focused until the 16th, and by that time, it's pretty much crunch time. So a lot of you might be procrastinating on, finishing up projects, finishing up like studying, exams, essays, and things like that. And I don't advise that you wait until the 16th. Try to get it done by the 3rd or so. I know that's not very realistic, but by the 16th, you are going to start to feel the time crunch. And I feel like for this month, especially, whatever effort you put in, that's what you're going to get out. So if you put in, a lot of effort to study, for example, you're going to get like very, very good test scores. But so there's an element here of, try to tone down on the distractions in your environment. If you're getting a lot of solicitations for, invites for events, functions, pick your battles, pick and choose which ones are important to you and allocate time out for yourself, okay? I'm also feeling it's a great exam month. I don't know why I'm getting like a very strong student vibe coming through for a lot of you. And I do sense as well that there are a lot of technical information that you are not like I feel like you have trouble understanding, and you get very discouraged, and I feel like you're getting frustrated. So you pick up a textbook, and then your mind starts drifting because the material, it just doesn't make sense to you. It feels like I'm feeling like writing essays are going to be, you're going to encounter some blockages, as well as exams. Try your best to study. Don't try to cram, or at least, whatever the amount of time that you're allocating for yourself to study for this one exam. Do like, put in another, I would say like 5-6 hours additional just to get the information down, and just so you're getting like a better understanding of things. If people are soliciting you for like group study and things like that, I feel like that might be beneficial if you're just not getting it, okay? I feel that's going to be really important for you in the process of collaborating and, working with other people like peers and, people around you. They might show you a better way to do things. So I would advise you do that. And either way, allocate enough time for yourself, for alone time, to get things done. I see like you have a lot of things that needs to be done, that needs to be wrapped up, and you're having trouble focusing. One of the first thing that came out strongly here is let me try to get this message out. I almost feel like a lot of you are wherever your living arrangement is, there's a lot of people coming and going. There's a lot of like little repairs that needs to be done. So you might have like technicians coming through, and there's a lot of noise. There's just a lot of distraction. Go to a library. If you're a student, try to go to a library, a bookstore, a coffee shop to study. Put on your headphones and just zone out, okay? And then I feel like there are errands that other people are asking you to run for them, and you don't need to do that. If you don't have the time, just tell them you don't have the time. Don't feel obligated and don't feel bad, okay? I I feel like unexpected travels coming through the very last minute, and I feel like a lot of you have things that you need to do, and then I feel like, the travel discussions are being talked about the first 10 days of the month, and then in the middle of the month you might be taking this short trip, and then your time is just out. So by the end of the month, there's a huge, huge, huge crunch period where you are stressed out. So time management is going to be very important. And I can tell you that till I'm blue in the face, but I feel like you're getting just very distracted. So be careful, okay? Let's go into your reading here. The first two cards we have out is the Temperance card and the Judgment. The Judgment card, let's talk about this one first, because I put the ones that came out first, mainly because they dictate the overall theme of that cluster. So the Judgment card indicates a lot of contact, a lot of communication, a lot of family reunions and things like that coming through via social circle, family unit, as well as new beginnings in all aspects of your life as well, okay? So the Judgment is a card that indicates a new phase in your life is beginning. And I feel like you come into this new phase in your life in a very wobbly manner. Like you're kind of like uncertain. You're taking temperature and you're just like treading very, very slowly, and you're not really sure if you're on the right track. I feel for a lot of you, a relationship might have recently solidified, and you're trying to work your way around each other. And then others of you, major like decisions have been made very, very recently when it comes to romantic partners. So that can be, moving in together. That can be, I feel like more on the emotional front. It's something that is emotionally destabilizing for you because it's new, it's different, and it's something that you're not used to. I also feel there are some family things coming through where one parent might be feeling under the weather, you're far away, you're hearing about this, and you're contemplating, taking a trip to come see them. And likewise, I feel like something about family, especially for those of you with children, medical, procedures, diagnoses, and even coming in for tests, coming in for flu shots, coming in for maintenance when it comes to the health of a child or health of parents. So all of these things are coming through in very, very subtle ways, and they all hit you like different times of the month. And I feel like, all of a sudden you get a call, and it does worry you because you are a very family oriented sign. And I do sense, like you identify very, very strongly with your family unit. Even if you're single right now and you don't have a family, I feel like that childhood family that you grew up in, whatever affects them, you feel like it affects you. So I do see a lot of that coming through, and then, people playing phone tag, and then you have to get back to them when you can, and then when you can, you stay on the phone for way too long because they have a lot of other things that they want to tell you. So I feel like it's just a lot of time that is being devoted to family members, to especially if they're going through some type of medical diagnoses and things like that, okay? The Temperance card comes in as a reminder for moderation. This is a card greatly about like not over drinking, not overextending ourselves, knowing when to pull back our energy and knowing when to extend outwards. So I feel like you need to find some type of a middle ground as to how you spend your time, as to how you manage things in your life, and as to how you don't let troublesome things, troublesome relationships, troublesome information coming from your external environment, like don't let it destabilize you. Find a way to process it, deal with it. And I don't want to, sound condescending by saying that, but I feel that you have your own responsibilities that you need to take care of, and you're not there to, soothe other people's problems. They're supposed to be self-sufficient in that manner. So you're not there to be, everybody's fix-it lady or man. You need to draw back your energy pretty much, okay? So don't extend outward, draw back in, and don't let yourself get swept away by the emotional ties of everything that's happening around you. And that is easier said than done, but I feel it is going to be required this month. So if you have a little bit of alone time, find things to do with your hands so that you're letting that overactive energy dissipate. So rather than sitting there thinking about it and ruminating over things, or keep talking about things or keep thinking about things, find something to do to keep your mind occupied, keep your hands busy so that you're not thinking about it and you're immersed in the moment, okay? The next two cards that are coming through is the Five of Swords and the Seven of Pentacles. Now, the Seven of Pentacles is it's a situation where you have devoted a lot of your time, love, nurturing, attention into a situation. So this is like, going through that period where you've done all the preliminary work in order to reap the benefits of your the fruits of your labor. And what I feel is there is some type of a disappointing news coming through. So I feel very strongly for some of you, if you are like applying for school, and I know it's weird, it's November, but you're applying for school. You might have taken some exams in order to apply for school, and then you might realize that, um, the school of your choice, they require higher scores. So then there's something about readjustment here that needs to happen. The Seven of Pentacles is a very, very good card. It's like waiting on a decision from somebody else. However, it's linked up with the Five of Swords, which is an empty victory card. It's like victory at somebody else's expense. And then as a result of it, I feel like, yes, you might get what you're asking for, but, at whose expense? So I feel like it's a double-edged sword when it comes to like, something you devoted a lot of your time in, and now it's coming through, it's bearing fruit. But you might now realize that this is not something that your heart was entirely set on from the get-go. And a lot of you, some of the times, it reminds me of this, where you might want something, right? And then once it's like in front of you, you realize that you might want something else. And that can extend towards, school applications. That can extend towards like job offers. That can also extend across relationship sectors as well. Somebody might be attached and you feel like you really want this person. You might reach out to the person. And then, they leave their family, their spouse, and things like that for you. And then you realize, you know what? I might have just wanted that competition. I might not have wanted that thing. So these are, things that could potentially play out. And either way, what it does is that it allows you to see and allow you to know and allow you to get some confirmation as to what it is that you really want to begin with. And which ones of those things which ones of your desires are actually based on, vanity, based on unrealistic expectations, or based on just, the whole point about winning, wanting something just because you can't have it, or wanting something just to prove to yourself that you can attain it, but then once it's within reach, you might now realize that you don't want that to begin with, okay? So there's something of an element here about, knowing what you want, and that truth, that revelation might come about as a double-edged sword. For others of you, and I'm getting this message very, very strongly, I feel honestly that you might be in a love triangle. And I'm going to do your love reading in a little bit. So I hope, that will allow you to get some insights into your specific situation. And I feel if you are in a love triangle, you might already know that you're in a love triangle. This is not going to be like revelation, things coming in as a surprise, okay? So I feel like you might be attached to somebody, and you might be in starting a new relationship. Or you might be coveting somebody who is in a relationship. And I feel like, they might tell you, oh, I'm going to leave so-and-so, and I'm going to leave them, and it's going to happen, 2 months from now. And like whatever they tell you, you've been waiting, and then you realize, you know what, they're stringing me along, so I need to like cut them out of my life. So I feel this sense of realization, this sense of closure, this sense of finality is actually coming through for a lot of you. And I hope you're not dealing with that on the romantic front. If it works out in a work environment, I feel like, they're telling you, oh, you're going to get a raise, a pay increase, a promotion, and you wait and wait and wait. And in the meantime, you're waiting. You're working very, very hard. You're like working your butts off. And as a result of it, you just realize, they're stringing me along. So I feel like either way, this month is going to bring a massive amount of closure. And this is actually an energy I've been feeling for a lot of signs, not just for you guys, but I feel like for you guys, it's a little bit more clear so that you can move once and for all past it, and that you can focus your energy on people, on projects that are worth your time. So that's coming through here. The next cluster here, we have the Queen of Cups as well as the Eight of Pentacles. So you have a water sign. This is a Pisces, a Cancer, or a Scorpio. This is somebody with a lot of good advice, good counsel, and somebody that you can turn to whenever you need some guidance. So I feel like this can serve as a relationship partner, but or even a friend or a family member. But what I'm feeling overall is that this is somebody who's very, very emotionally supportive of you. So whoever they are in your life, they are sun, moon, or rising, Pisces, Cancer, Scorpio. They are somebody who is very kind, emotionally supportive. They believe in you, and they always like praise you, say good things about you, and they give you that emotional support. And they might so for example, they might tell you, reach for the stars and you will always, always achieve your dreams. And I feel like even through the times that you doubted yourself, through like many disappointments, they have always been there for you. And I feel like this is the month in which this person is going to be front and center in your focal point, and they are going to give you, if you were trying to reach for the stars and you feel like you have failed, or you feel like you need to do some readjustments when it comes to your goals and expectations, I feel like they're still there giving you that emotional support, and they're showing you how to do something in order to move things along. A lot of you might be sending out resumes, and I feel like resumes for scholarships, resumes for schools, resumes for work. If you are sending out resumes for work, I do feel this person, well, for whatever you're sending out for, I do feel this person is giving you some valuable insights as to, what you should include. And I feel that it would be in your best interest to try to follow their advice. They're going to give you very, very good, solid advice. If you are looking for work, if you're thinking about, applying for schools and, changing your career direction. So before, if you were doing medicine, now you might be thinking about law. That's also what I'm feeling. And you might be doing like a drastic 180 where you're just like, I'm not really sure if this is the right career track for me, so I want to explore this other option. And I feel like you have somebody here that's going to be able to give you some guidance, okay? One of the things that they might say to you here is, don't be so, they might say something like, so that you know who this person is. They might tell you don't abandon projects too early. They might tell you, keep working at it, work at it, work at it until you've exhausted all possibilities before you change your direction. So there's somebody who really values hard work and dedication and, that stick-to-itiveness. And they might tell you, keep working, keep at it. You're going to be good. You're going to be safe. You're going to be okay. And you deserve it. So I feel like they keep pushing you to work towards a specific goal and to never give up. So that's the type of emotional support you're getting from this person, okay? And they're going to help you along the way as well. Job applications, I do see that. I see scholarship, grants, applications. And I feel like it's highly competitive as well, okay? So you have to somehow make yourself stand out, because I feel like you're competing against many, many, many people. And there are a lot of, for example, if it's like an internship that will allow you to work with a very, very prestigious organization. And I feel that there are a lot of people vying for, it's like one position, and thousands of people are vying for it. So I feel like you're applying for some important jobs or internships or scholarships. And I feel like the competition is fierce. So you need to be very cutthroat about it. So that means, don't be too humble. Try to, I guess, like emphasize your skills, your assets, and, don't downplay your potential. Try to, what is that? Try to emphasize your contributions. Try to, hype yourself up, because I feel like the pool that you're competing against, they're very fierce, okay? And you might be competing against like mid-career level professionals, and it's a different ballpark is what I'm sensing. So you need to work at it, and you need to like emphasize all the things that you have to offer, your past contributions, the work that you've done in the past, so that you can win this thing. Okay, so I feel like whatever work you put in is what you're going to get out this month. So that means studying, spending enough time studying rather than staying up late, um, worrying about other stuff that's not marginally related to what you're supposed to be studying about, taking care of your responsibilities, doing work in a very diligent manner, as well as, putting yourself out there and being like the prime candidate that they're looking for. So things are going to be very, very good for you. Now, what is coming through in terms of your advice here? We do have the Two of Swords. And the Two of Swords is basically a decision, okay? This is a card about indecisiveness. This is a card also about denial, blocking out the truth, and all of those things. Now, I don't read these cards in upright or. The Two of Swords is a situation where you are going to have to make a major decision as it pertains to your career track. And I do feel for a lot of you, I feel this element about, other people are coming into you and they're bringing their stories and they're just like, hey, I did this. And, within 3 months, I made this much money. So they're bringing you kind of like, I feel like, stories of success, but they seem almost like a pipe dream. So they're selling you a dream. And I feel like a lot of you might be taken in by these things, by these stories, like get rich quick schemes come to mind, shortcuts, financial, doing some financial investment or even some long-term planning and opening up businesses is what I'm feeling. But you feel like it's a gamble. And a lot of you are just kind of like have been going through your life doing the right thing, like getting that job, working 9 to 5, working your butts off and, trying to do things in a correct manner. It might be slow, but it has worked for you. And then all of a sudden you might have people coming through with these get rich quick schemes and they're like blowing your mind and you want to believe them. But I feel like there's a lot more to the story that you're not being given information on, okay? And I feel like it might have worked specifically for them. Maybe the timing was just right for them. Whatever the circumstances is that I feel like you're not being fed the entire story. So you want to be careful. You want to do the preliminary research on your own. And I feel like at this point, a lot of you are financially, you're in a good space, but you're trying to decide on a career path that you're going to go into. I see a lot of people in the medical profession potentially shifting into the administrative role. So you might be a nurse, and now you might want to be a head nurse where you are in charge of scheduling. You might be doing, public health on the ground, and then you might shift more into the administrative aspect of that. You might be changing career path, med school, law school, for example, or starting med school, starting law school, like what profession it is that you're trying to get into. I feel like all of these things are being brought up for reexamination, and a lot of you, you're starting new major chapters in your life when it comes to higher education, when it comes to career advancement. And so all of these things, all of these doubts, all of these questions are coming through, and it's completely normal. But I feel like, you're showing up here as the Queen of Pentacles, and this is your energy. So it's basically saying that you have been doing things very diligently, so you're on the right track. Okay, so don't doubt yourself. Don't let other people's success story steer you off course. Okay, so keep whatever you're doing because you're on the right track. We also have as well the Wheel of Fortune. And the Wheel of Fortune indicates to me that, situations being turned around and things are turning in your favor depending on, how much work you put in, how diligent you were at following and pursuing your own track that is specifically created for you. How you are at handling responsibilities and how diligent you are at being able to triage, being able to manage your time and not let yourself get emotionally riled up by your environment. So, maintaining that calm, the sense of decorum under pressure. Okay, so I feel that coming through. One last thing I'm feeling is that I do sense here that, there is something here, and I can't really put my finger on it just yet. It's actually talking a lot about, winning at somebody else's expense, okay? And I feel like you want to really reassess this situation if you are kind of like a third party. And that's never a good thing overall. But you also have to think about actions and consequences, because with when we are ending on the Wheel of Fortune, with the Justice card, it's divine intervention, divine karma. It's like the divine, balancing of that karmic scale. So if you are knowingly wedging yourself in between a couple, it's not going to end well. Okay, I don't feel it's going to end well. There will be confrontation, and there will be decisions that that might not even be up to you to decide. And then likewise, if you are romantically linked up with somebody and somebody's trying to get in between you, there will be divine retribution as well. So I feel like, depending on which side of the coin you're on, I don't feel you need to worry much if you're doing things by the book and if you're righteous. But I definitely feel something about karmic endings, like karmic ties being broken up, and third parties being weaned out. Okay, so that's overall a good thing. Let me go into your love reading here, and I hope this energy doesn't come up again in the love reading, but we'll see. So let's see what's going on for Leos, for love, relationship. Love, romance, relationship. I'm going to pass over one more time, mainly because I'm going to get some clarity on certain things here. I feel like a lot of it has to deal with singles, and singles I feel are singles and couples, and the ones that are kind of like starting new relationships. There might be a few snags along the road, but let's just see here. Okay, so let's talk about your past first. So in the past position, we do have the Fool, and this is the recent past, okay? The Fool is basically about starting a new phase in your life, feeling optimistic, not carrying the past emotional burden and baggage with you. And I feel like fire signs are the best to bounce back after, or the ones that are very successful at bouncing back after a bad relationship. So, once you're done, you're done. And I feel like, you have this happy-go-lucky energy where you can very quickly bounce back. And, you have a really strong magnetic pull that allows other people to approach you. You're approachable, you're easy to talk to, and I feel like you have a very generous spirit that allows people to feel very, very comfortable around you. And I feel like, the whatever issues you have, like internally, you never let it like show up externally when you deal with new people. So I feel like, you have this childlike innocent, this sense of trust and adventure about you, where you don't let your past relationships taint your current situation. So which is a great energy to bring to the table. So I feel like a lot of you have recently broken up, and you have healed up, and now you're going through this phase where you are trying your luck at dating again. So you're putting yourself out there, you're open and receptive to new love, okay? I feel like what happened in the past was that you were in a situation where there were a lot of responsibilities. So you could be in a partnership where, there are a lot of children and there are a lot of responsibilities, household responsibilities. So not only were you working, I feel like a lot of, I'm getting a very strong, Leo female vibes here. A lot of you are not only just working, you're maintaining, the family budget. You're trying to keep everything afloat. So you're a professional career person. And then at home, you're kind of like the super mom or the super dad. So you're trying to maintain everything. And you're doing so without, any complaint because you feel like your children, your family unit, are you take pride and joy in domesticating, and you also take pride and joy to do your job and do it well. So I feel like there were a lot of responsibilities that were kind of thrown upon you because people were just taking you for granted, and they might not know that there's a limit. So I feel like you gladly took on all these responsibilities because you did it out of love. And I feel like over time it really wore you down, and it really corroded your sense of, I would say, like, your sense of balance. So I feel like that was the main thing. And because it was like this, I feel that, a serious compromise had to be reached, or a serious ultimatum had to be drawn, so that both partners can contribute equally. So a lot of you might have like be still dealing with this, or a lot of you might have just broken yourself free and moved on. Okay. So the Eight of Swords here is a situation where we were very stuck because of external conditions. And I feel like you were stuck. You didn't know where to go. You didn't know how you were going to fare. But a lot of you were just like, no, I'm going to take my chances because I feel like the universe can protect me. So all three cards combined indicates to me, dropping a heavy load of a burden, moving on forward. And so it's kind of like picking up the pieces of your life, moving on, mainly because you knew it wasn't working. So a lot of you are starting out this month, possibly in the single state, okay? Which brings us to the present moment. We have the World, the Page of Wands, and the Two of Swords. So the World is a situation where your social networks, your opportunities when it comes to enjoyment, love, friendships, and relationships, all of these things are opening up for you. And basically, it's saying that opportunity is there. External to you is the World, which means opportunities are in abundant. However, I feel like you might have a lot of responsibilities, so you have a habit of cocooning yourself and not really going out there and reaping all these benefits just yet. A lot of you are still selective about who you engage with. So I feel like there is here this energy with the Page of Wands, which means a lot of communication, a lot of flirtation, a lot of new text messages, and people showing their interest. But I feel like their interest is more on a physical level. It's not that they're only soliciting you for, a physical connection. I don't feel that. I feel like that's what it starts out as. And it's like fun, friendly flirtation. And it can blossom into more. But I feel at this point, you're still keeping yourself a little bit kind of guarded. I feel like it's because of this past energy, and as a result of it, you might have a lot of responsibilities as well. So you're very selective. You're picking and choosing who you want to engage with in conversation, who you want to go on dates with, and who you're letting into your inner circle, okay? So if you're dealing with a fire sign specifically, another fire sign, so another Leo, a Sagittarius, or an Aries, there is some sense here where you're not really sure about this person's intentions, and you're not really sure if they have what it takes to go the distance with you, if they have a great sense of responsibility, if they're reliable, if they're dependable, if what they say is who they are, if they're telling you the truth. So I feel like you have somebody that is, crushing on you, that is like really, really in hot pursuit of you. So another fire sign, and you're not really sure which direction to go with that just yet, okay? And let's talk about your crowning energy. The crowning energy is something that you're thinking about. We have the Eight of Wands, which is basically fast, swift, decisive communication where people are like sure about what they want, how they want to proceed, and what they want to do. We also have here the Nine of Wands. So the Eight of Wands, and then the Nine of Wands. The Nine of Wands indicates a person that has been like through the ringer. They have had a lot of, I would say trauma in their past. And they have been through a series of unhealthy relationships. They've grown from it. They have extracted important lessons from it. They still believe in love, so they're not bitter and jaded. They're still a very, very optimistic and happy-go-lucky type of a person. This is a card of Leo. It's not the strength card, but whenever I see this card, you know, it's a very Leo type of card where I feel like no matter what, you're still very optimistic. You're giving people a chance. You're communicating and interacting with a lot of people. And I feel like no matter what you've been through in the past, it hasn't made you jaded. You still approach relationships in a very fair, in a very balanced manner. And as a result of it, I feel that, you know, you're giving everybody the benefit of the doubt, okay? And once again, you are extending your energy outward. So make sure the people are worth it. Um, this card indicates to me very, very strong intuition, and you should listen to it. There's a tree here, and every time I see that, I think about somebody who has a lot of wisdom. They, when someone has a lot of wisdom, they either have very, very heightened intuition, or they're so sympathetic to the point where, you know, they see the best in everybody. And on the other hand, you're looking for love. So I feel like the only danger that I'm feeling for you guys is you're looking for love and you want to heal other people. And I feel like, you know, you see the best in everybody already, so it might not be the best combination. So discernment and, you know, discernment and being a little bit more selective is going to be required of you. Yes, you want to give everybody the benefit of the doubt, and that's fine. But if your intuition is telling you certain things, you need to heed your intuition, because I feel like you have a tendency to see only the good in people. So that means you let a lot of things slide, and that's not great when all these, you know, red flags are coming up on the first, second, third dates to warn you about a specific person. I hope that makes sense. So just be careful about that, okay? We have here the Six of Pentacles. This is a card about generosity. It's about giving out to others, and it's about, you know, matching people halfway as well. So I feel that you should be more discerning overall, Leos. I feel that, you know, especially if you're single and you have like a lot of options, and I don't feel you guys are short on options, so just be a little bit more discerning, okay? So the foundation is the situation on which things are built. So first of all, I see, you know, overall one female, two males. And this can play out as like, you know, having several options, or even caught between the past and the present, or even like, you know, a man caught between two women. So it can play out in many, many ways. So I feel like for a lot of you, you had trouble letting go of a specific person. So I would say, like, you know, that you're encountering two people. We have two kings here, which is quite interesting. And they can be male or female. We have the King of Swords, somebody who's very, very slick, very intelligent, you know, not like the most emotional person, but they're very witty. They're a joy to talk to. They can like they have a great sense of humor, and they can lift you from a state of depression to, you know, high heights. So I feel like this is somebody who knows what to say, and I feel like generally they are very trustworthy. And then you have this other person who's handsome, who's very, you know, much looking for love and looking for solid relationships. And they want, you know, to find their equal counterpart, so then they can have a life together, build a house, build a family, and things like that. So I feel like at this point, you're just like, what do I really want? Do I want, like, you know, just fun, innocent fun and no obligations? Or do I really want a serious relationship? And I feel like you might encounter an air sign, an Aquarius, a Gemini, or a Libra. Somebody who is kind of like playing the field. They're fun and you're attracted to them, but they're not giving you a commitment. And then on the other hand, some of you might be dealing with this person, the King of Pentacles, who is very stable, who's very, very generous, who is like showering a lot of trinkets, a lot of gifts and affections on you. And they want a solid relationship. A lot of you have just been out of a relationship. You're now looking for a little bit more fun, more lighthearted energy. So you might not be prepared for this just yet. And I feel this person is genuine. However, with the air sign, I feel like they are not ready just yet, okay? So what's coming into the present situation here? We have the Ace of Swords, which is a decision that is like coming into the picture. You are going to be making a decision, or if you're not the one making a decision is going to be made for you regarding, you know, these two people. And I feel like on the one hand, be careful with the air sign. We have here the Seven of Swords, which is sneaky behavior, finding something out, finding some truths about, you know, somebody's true motives and true intentions. And I feel like it's not going to hurt you. I don't feel you feeling bad, mainly because, like I said, your intuition was telling you all along that, you know, something's off. And I feel like you did some digging, you did some investigating here with the Ace of Swords, asking questions, digging up information on people via social media, for example. And I feel that you are coming across some information that really knocked it out of the park. So you know where you stand. And we also have the magician here. The magician deals with like the veneer, you know, like the face, the mask that somebody wears, and they try to come through in a they represent themselves in a very false manner. So I feel like if you are deciding, there's going to be some truth, some information, some revelations that are being that are coming to light this month, and it will let you decide which choice to go with. Okay, so I feel like you want to be a little bit careful with the air sign, and I feel like they're telling you that, you know, they're not looking for a relationship. And if you're dealing with somebody like that, an Aquarius, Gemini, or Libra, they are not really looking for a relationship. They're very, very good at talking. They have a great sense of like salesmanship, and they put on a good, you know, they make a persuasive argument, and I feel like you're emotionally very invested in this person as well. So it's not going to be easy for you to just, you know, cleanly cut ties. But I do feel you're going to have to, because this person is not after the same things that you are after, and there is some element here of manipulation about that. Okay, so the foundation here looks very good, and I feel like you should aim for the other sign that is a little bit more stable for you. Okay, so we have an earth sign coming through. So for singles, there are plenty of opportunities to meet and just have fun, or to form solid relationships. I don't feel you're ready, some of you, for solid relationships just yet. And then for those of you who are coupled up, either with an air sign or an earth sign, I do feel the earth sign is they're the ones that are, you know, reciprocating more. If you're dealing with other signs, I feel like there needs to be discussions about, you know, responsibilities and expectations between partners. Okay, but overall it is very positive. I do feel, you know, house moves and things like that for those of you who are coupled up. I do feel as well moving in together, and it's not really like taking the relationship to the next level, but you might move in together for practical reasons. And I'm also feeling, you know, like social outings and things like that coming through, and a lot of reciprocity, give and take, and things like that within your family unit. Okay, so a little bit of a trouble spot states and are celebrating. And I'll be back for the mid-month reading. If you'd like to book a private reading with me, visit my website where you can view my availability and schedule an appointment for yourself. So I wish you the best, Leo. Take care. Bye-bye.